What is going on, guys? What's poppin'? So I know it's been a while since I posted my last video, and that's by design. I'm kind of just waiting for that NBA season to get closer and closer to starting. Not too sure when the preseason starts. Also not sure if I'm going to be able to get any Spurs games televised. But if they are, then I'll definitely watch them, and I'll give some commentary on that. But anyways, guys, before I get started, I want everybody to do me a big favor and smash that subscribe button and the little notification bell next to it. That way, anytime I produce some more content, you'll get a notification. But today we're going to talk about the Spurs' ideal rotations, and then the rotations I think we're going to kind of use in the starting lineup, off the bench, and to close games. So first, I'll go with the starting lineup just in the bench rotation to start the season. Right now, we know that Keldon Johnson, Derrick White, and Quinndary Weatherspoon are all injured, and they're not going to be ready at the very start of the season. Now, hopefully, they're just small injuries, and they'll work their way back quick, and they'll be big parts of the rotation, at least Derrick White and Keldon Johnson, right? But in an ideal world, I think both of those guys would be starters. But if they're not out long and it doesn't affect them this season, that sort of thing, then I think it might actually be a decent thing because it's going to give the rookies more of a chance. So let's go and start naming what I think the starting rotation is going to be. Obviously, DeJounte Murray is going to be the starting point guard without Derrick White out there. Starting shooting guard is very likely to be Lonnie Walker. He was starting in the bubble last year for the most part, so I think that just makes sense. I believe he was playing mostly the three, but he can definitely play shooting guard as well. Demar Derozan is likely to be the starting small forward to start the season. And I'm assuming we're going to go back to Trey Lyles at power forward and Lamarcus Aldridge is center, right? So it's not a much different starting lineup than what we started the season with last year, although we can say that Lonnie Walker is the much better athlete, better defender than Bryn Forbes. Now, is he a better shooter? No, probably not, and I doubt he will be this year. But I do think he'll at least bring some intensity, some athleticism to the table, so that'll be a good thing. Then the bench lineup, I think, benefits the most from these injuries because Tre Jones will probably have a shot as the backup point guard off the bench just to start the season until some of the guys are back. That means Patty Mills will probably be playing mostly off ball at the two guard. That'll allow Devin Vassel, is it Vassel or Vassel? Y'all gotta let me know in the comments. I think it's Vassel to slide into the backup three position. Rudy Gay will likely be the backup power forward. Sounds like he's lost some weight during the offseason, so that's great. And then, of course, Jakob Poeltl is going to be the backup five. So it kind of fits, and it makes sense with the injuries. Now, with Derrick White coming back, that probably puts Patty Mills to point guard off the bench, and it probably moves Lonnie Walker to the bench to the shooting guard position. Likely takes Tre Jones out of the rotation, which is okay, because the third point guard, you're going to use some throughout the season regardless. So I'm not too worried about him playing a major role the whole entire season as part of the rotation, but I definitely think he'll have his moments, especially when we need that defensive help that Patty can't always provide. So now the problem is when you bring Keldon Johnson back at the three and you assume that DeMar DeRozan starting at the three, then Keldon Johnson's probably going to be the backup three. Him and Derrick White are the two best defenders on the team right now. And Vassel, at this point, is still unproven. We have big expectations for him, but Keldon Johnson will get the nod over him. So is that going to be an issue where Vassel's not getting a lot of minutes during the season once everybody's healthy? It definitely could be. So that's one concern I have. Now, one way to fix that would be to move DeMar DeRozan to the four and play him mostly a power forward, which he was doing a lot last year, and I think he was a lot, especially once the bubble started and once we restarted the season. Now, the starting lineup, it would work out really well, in my opinion, because my starting lineup would be DeJounte Murray, Derrick White, Keldon Johnson at the three, DeMar DeRozan at the four, and Lamarcus Aldridge at the five. Your biggest problem is off the bench, now you have Trey Lyles and Rudy Gay. And Rudy Gay could definitely play some at the three, and Trey Lyles could play some at the five, but then you have Vassel and Poeltl at the three and the five. So you have rotational issues, and it sounds like we might even want to lock up Trey Lyles long term. And I think the biggest reason why Trey Lyles kind of worked out last year as a reclamation project is because he played his highest career minutes per game. He played like 20 minutes a game. He had his highest career percentage and 3-point field goal percentage. I think he shot like 38% from three. So I'd like to see him build on that. And his points per game wasn't the highest. He was averaging like 6.5 points a game. But he didn't have a major role in the offense. He was there and he hit some shots when we needed him to. And I think it was a solid year for him. I mean, did he really help the team win? I don't know. But I think he gave us something to build upon. So if you limit his role and put him on the bench and take him out of the rotation completely, then I think that's going to have some major long-term negative implications for him. He's only 25 years old, and as a matter of fact, I think he just turned 25 in November, so he was 24 last year, still a very young player, and a guy that you want to continue to give some big minutes to, because I think last year that those 20 minutes per game are going to help him build as a player moving forward, and he could become, I don't know, I don't want to compare him to like a Boris Diaw, because their games are so different, but I think he could become a solid NBA power forward. Basically what I'm trying to say is a rotational player, right? An effective player that'll help the team win. I don't think he's quite there yet, but he actually showed me some flashes here and there on defense last year. Like I said, if he can get that 3-point field goal percentage to like 40%, I think we'll be gold with him. So it's going to be an issue there, and that's going to be something Pop has to work with. And at the end of the day, if Devin Vassel is the better player than Trey Lyles, and we'd rather play Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassel and start Keldon Johnson, then it may behoove the team to do that and benefit the team to bench Trey Lyles. So would it suck a little? Yeah, but we got to do what's best for the team, right? And what's best to help us win. And at the same time, Rudy Gay, we do know they lost some weight in the offseason, which I think is a really good thing. I think he needed to lose at least 20 pounds to be able to keep up laterally with some of these guys anyways, even at the 4. At the same time, maybe he's the one that loses another step this year and loses his spot in the rotation. So it'll be interesting to see the guys I'm looking for that really need to earn their spots in the rotation. I'm not going to say Patty Mills, because I can see him aging well and still being a really good scorer, but I'll say Lonnie Walker is still pretty green where he needs to earn his spot in the rotation. Devin Vassel obviously is a rookie. Trey Jones obviously even more so as a second-round pick and a rookie. But Rudy Gay and Trey Lyles will have to play really well as well. I mean, the only guys that really got rotation spots locked down are like Murray, White, Johnson, DeRozan, and Aldridge, basically. So now we'll move on a little bit, and I'll talk about what lineups I think we'll potentially use to close games to start the season, and then lineups maybe that I would like to see to close games. So I'm assuming to start the season, I gave my starting lineup. It's going to be DeJounte Murray. He'll be closing games for sure. Now the shooting guard position, it's going to depend, right? It could be Patty Mills some nights. If he's shooting the ball well, I could see us going with the better shooter. Now if Lonnie Walker's playing well and he proves himself, then I think it would behoove us to have him out there defensively until White or Johnson are back. At the 3, obviously, I think it'll be DeRozan. I'm really hoping we move him to the 4, but I just don't see him starting at the 4 with Lyles and Rudy Gay out there. But we'll just have to wait and see. Then at the 4, I'm assuming we're going to play Rudy Gay to close games, and obviously Lamarcus Aldridge. Now, if I'm talking about what I would do with that roster to start the season, I think you definitely... Oh, man. I would probably start DeJounte Murray and Patty Mills. Because you put Mills and I don't mean start. I mean to finish games. But you put Murray and Walker out there, and also DeRozan, obviously. And the shooting and spacing could be an issue to finish games. I mean, that could be a major struggle. And we don't know yet if Lonnie Walker is ready to be a positive, a plus defensively. So that's another problem. At least with Patty Mills, we know we're getting shooting to close the games. So I definitely want Patty Mills out there. And if you want to put Patty and Walker out there, that's fine too. But I think if we're going to build with DeJounte Murray as like a corner piece moving towards the future, then I think he probably needs to be closing games right now. And I think he'll improve his shooting this offseason is what I'm really hoping from him. I want him, now that he's been healthy for a season to come in this year and really start to come into his own. So let's say Murray, Patty playing off ball. Personally, I would put, well, I would probably put, I'm not going to say Vassel, but once the guys are healthy, I'll change it. I would put DeRozan at the 3 until Vassel's proven. And then at the 4, Rudy Gay and Lamarcus Aldridge. So I'm basically saying I would do the same lineup. But when the guys are healthy, I kind of want to see Murray, White, Keldon at the 3, DeRozan, and Aldridge to close games. I think that's the way you got to do it. And you really don't even have to play Murray out there to close games. I mean, unless he's having a hot night or something, you could really help the spacing out if you went like a lineup with Derrick White, Keldon Johnson at the 2, because he can play the 2. He's a big, strong 3, but he's only like 6'5". I think he's, 215. So he can play some shooting guard as well. And that'll improve the defense right there. And then Vassel at the 3, DeRozan at the 4, and, of course, Aldridge at the 5. So I think there's a lot of potential for some really good lineups this year. And, guys, everything I'm hearing about this offseason is that Pop is all in and he's sold on sticking with the young guys and going with what we saw worked in the bubble last year, right? So that's a really exciting thing. Guys, do me a favor and leave me a comment and list some rotations you want to see. I know we finally got to see DeJounte Murray and Derrick White play together a lot in the bubble, and it worked out just as well as we thought it would, right? Defensively, we're just awesome. So there's some potential for some really exciting lineups. So, guys, I want y'all to give me a starting rotation, starting 5, and you could do it for the beginning of the season with the injuries, or you could do it for when everybody's healthy. I don't care. A bench 5, and the 5 you would close games with. Besides that, like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that's pretty much going to do it for today, guys. I'm out. Peace!